If you think you're bad with women, you're not socially broken. You're just stuck at a specific level of confidence and no one's really showed you the roadmap. In this video, I'm gonna break down the 7 levels of dating women through approaching, and I'm gonna talk about the main roadblocks that guys have at each level that keeps them stuck there. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Jacob, and on this channel, I give you insights that help you feel more confident in your own skin, help you make friends anywhere you go, and also help you attract the types of women you've always wanted to attract. Let's get into it. So level 1 is what I call the overthinker. This is where you've approached 0 women because you're just overthinking everything. At this level, you're worried about a lot. You're worried about what you're gonna say when you walk up to her. You're worried about, is this even okay, right? A lot of us guys that grew up during cancel culture, Me Too, all that stuff, we're worried about, hey, is this even allowed? Like, am I gonna be vilified for walking up to a girl that I find attractive? Or am I gonna get like canceled or something? Are people gonna look at me badly or like judge me? I had a client of mine who was exactly at this level. He had never approached a girl in his life. He was already in in his mid-20s, like 24, 25 years old. He was a software engineer and he was extremely aware of just the social climate that we're in, right? All that stuff you see on social media, on TikTok, of like guys getting called out at gyms, like you'll see those TikToks and those posts on social media of girls like hating on men that walk up to them and all that stuff, right? So a big fear of his was coming off as creepy, and he wanted to make sure that if he was going to do this, this was okay to do and that he could be respectful while he does it. Because a big part of approaching women is basically being direct and telling the girl, hey, excuse me, I thought you were cute. I wanted to come say hi. But telling a girl that you think she's cute, that in today's day and age makes a lot of guys nervous, right? They worry, like, is that like sexual harassment? Like if I walk up to a girl and tell her that I think she's cute and that I wanted to talk to her, is that like catcalling? Is that okay to do? So what my client, his name was Jimmy, what he did is that he made a deal with himself every single Monday. He drove to the mall and he didn't really put too much pressure on himself to like actually start these long conversations with women. What he wanted to do was just first test the waters and make sure that this was okay. And if girls reacted okay to just being told that they were cute, right? He went to the mall for a few weeks every single Monday. And what he would do would just walk up to a girl that he thought was cute. Maybe she was working at a store or something. And he was like, hey, excuse me, respectfully, I just wanted to let you know that I thought you were really cute. And that's it. Have a good day. And he would do that over the course of like a few weeks. And maybe he did like 10 or 15 of these interactions where all he did was just say, thought you were cute, wanted to say that, have a good day. What happened was amazing. He started to realize that not only was this okay to do, like he would get a lot of positive reactions from women, but the thing is he also got negative reactions. And he didn't view that badly. Instead, he viewed it as, okay, wait a minute, I'm being myself all of these situations. Maybe he approached like 10 or 20 girls, right, and did this type of thing. In all 20 of these interactions, he basically stayed the same, right? He just told a girl, hey, respectfully, I just wanted to let you know, I thought you were really cute. Have a good day. Basically, like half of the girls, or maybe even the majority, told him that they really appreciated it and they smiled and they blushed and they said thank you. And there were a handful of girls that were kind of creeped out or weirded out by it. But what that told him was that, okay, not only is this okay to do, but also rejection isn't really my fault. If a girl is creeped out by me, it's kind of more who she is instead of who I am. It's not that I'm being creepy because, hey, I told another girl the same exact thing and she reacted positively. So that's my action step for you, is do the same thing that my client Jimmy did. If you're totally new at this and you're looking at all this cold approach dating stuff and you're like, holy fuck, like how do I even wrap my head around this? Like I'm watching videos that tell me I need to, have these like 10, 15 minute long conversations or something. Really the best thing you could do for yourself is take it step by step. First, what you need to do, and do this within 7 days of watching this video, walk up to 3 girls, go to a place where there's attractive women, right? Maybe it's a mall, maybe it's just like an outdoor area or something. And if you think a girl is cute, tell her that. You need to become comfortable just telling a girl that you think she's cute, expressing that feeling that you have inside. So what I want you to do is this: walk up to a girl that you think is cute and say, hey, excuse me, respectfully, I just want to let you know that I thought you were really cute. Have a nice day. Try to have fun doing it. Try to like loosen up, just have fun. This is kind of a silly little thing that we're all doing here, just trying to date, trying to find love, trying to find companionship. It's kind of funny, it's kind of silly. That's the way I want you to view this. It's just, you're just lightly telling a girl, I thought you were really cute. You're just appreciating her beauty and you're letting her know. Do that with at least like 3 girls in the next 7 days. I want you to get your feet, kind of dip your toes in the water a little bit, all right? Level 2 is what I call the first timer. You finally approached one girl. And what I consider this is like 1 to 3 girls, because those first few approaches, you're gonna remember them for the rest of your life, dude. It was 2019. I was a junior in college. I was about 20 years old. And I would always see this beautiful girl at the library at my university. And I would see her just weeks and weeks in a row. I never spoke to her because I didn't really know her at all. I didn't really have any reason to talk to her. Back then, I kind of thought that way as well, that you have to have a reason to talk to somebody. Like maybe we have to be in the same class or something. And like I could ask her, what the homework was or whatever. So this girl was completely like out of my life, but I saw her like basically every day at the university library. And I was low key like obsessed. All right. I would just look at her and be like, oh my God, she's gorgeous. Like literally like top 5 most beautiful girls I've ever seen in my life. And one day I was sitting at the library, kind of at a table with a friend of mine. And I told this friend of mine, I was like, hey, like that girl is so cute. Like I always see her. Like, I want to go say hi to her. Like, I've been thinking about it. And my friend was like, go do it then. Like, don't be a pussy. Go do it. Just the pressure, kind of how I was feeling in that moment. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go do it. So I just walked over to her table and she was sitting by herself, luckily, which was like great for like the first time, doing this. I'm like so awkward. My heart is pounding out of my chest. I'm like fucking shaking basically. And I walk up to her table and she's sitting down and I'm like, I wouldn't recommend starting a conversation like that, but this is my first time. So, hey, excuse me, can I sit down with you real quick? And she's like, okay, sure. So I sit down with her and I'm like, random, but I thought you were cute as a cupcake and I wanted to come say hi. And she starts blushing. She starts smiling a little bit. And dude, I'm like shaking. I'm nervous. I'm smiling, but it's like this really nervous smile. My face is red. I'm like definitely sweating. And I try to have some sort of a conversation with her. I'm like kind of stuttering my way through a conversation, asking her like what she's studying, what her major is, like just that type of stuff, where she's from. The conversation lasted maybe like 2 or 3 minutes total. And I basically ended the conversation saying, you know what, just like take my number and you could text me if you want to, because I was like so nervous about even asking for her number. I was like, I'm already so far into this. Like this is way further than I thought I would ever be with such a beautiful girl like this. Just take my number and text me if you feel like it. So I gave her my number and she wrote it down in her notes app, like not even like as a contact on her phone. I didn't expect anything to happen, but dude, I remember for the next like week or two, I was just glowing. I was so proud of myself for doing something that scared me so much. If you're at level 1 and you've never experienced that feeling, that's the feeling you're going to experience already at this level. If you've already done it a few times, you know what I mean when I say that you're never really going to forget that first big approach where you finally got over a fear of yours that was so just in your way. You know what I mean? My homework for you though, if you're at this level, is okay, you've already done it like 1 to 3 times over the course of your life. You need to add some consistency into all of this, okay? Because that's the only way you're going to actually start meeting women consistently and, getting a girlfriend or having a fun sexual, experience with somebody. Within a week of watching this video, I want you to approach 3 girls that you genuinely find attractive. You have to add some more volume into this, more momentum, and try to stay in the conversation, ask what their names are, ask them what they're up to, kind of try to get to know them a little bit, where they're from, like what they're doing, all that stuff, because you've already gone past that like one-time miracle moment approach. Now, this is something you're trying to incorporate into your life as a just daily routine, like a daily practice that you could just do consistently and make this a part of who you are as a man. Level 3 is what I call the inconsistent one. You've approached 5 to 10 girls in your life, but you're not really doing it on a consistent basis, mainly because of this. Now that you've approached like 5 to 10 girls, you've already been doing this a bit, you're realizing that, damn, this is kind of harder than I thought, and you're starting to put some expectations on yourself. It's no longer this like fun, ripping the Band-Aid off type of experience. You're actually kind of putting pressure on yourself because the rejections are kind of piling up. You know what I mean? Maybe you've approached 10 girls and you've been rejected by like 8 or 9 of them. And you're kind of like, fuck, dude. So every single approach that you potentially are going to do next has more and more pressure built into it, because you're like, I've already approached 10 girls. What if the next one also rejects me? And then what if the one after that also rejects me? And the one after that rejects me? Like, what if I'm never going to find love and I'm just like destined to be alone my whole life? I'm doing the work. Like, what if I never actually get the results out of it? I just wanted to let you know that there was a day where I went out, filmed a video for this channel. And in that video, I approached 9 girls total for that whole day. And the first 8 of them them rejected me. Some of them had boyfriends, some of them had husbands even, like one girl had a husband. Some of them just weren't really that interested. There was one girl that literally was kind of creeped out by me, like she was a little bit younger, like in college or something, and she was just like, whoa, like what's happening right now? And I was like, fuck man, like 8 girls in a row rejected me. Like this is a lot. Like this is not what I expected, but I stayed in it. I stayed outside that day. I had my camera guy outside with me and I was like, you know what? Like I need to just keep trying. Literally right after the 8th approach, that was the girl that thought I was weird. I immediately spotted 2 other girls across the street and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm in the zone. Let's just go for it. I walked up to those girls and I said, hey, excuse me. This is random, but I thought you were really cute. Y'all both look lovely, but you know, I was talking to one specific girl and here's actually the footage from that. Excuse me. How's it going, guys? What's up? I just noticed you guys across the street. I thought you were really cute. Y'all both look lovely, but yeah, I thought you were really cute. Wanted to say hi. Yeah. What's up?
What's your name?
So that just goes to show that even if you approach 10 women, most of them might reject you. It kind of depends on the day, kind of depends how you're feeling that day and how fun and, you know, charismatic you are. But it's kind of a numbers game. That's my homework for you if you're at level 3 is that, yeah, you've approached 5 to 10 girls in your life, but now you need to start viewing it as truly a numbers game. My homework for you, my actionable step for you is every single week, no matter what, you need to approach 3 to 5 girls within 1 week, okay? Every single week, approach 3 to 5 women. That's the only way you're gonna start building momentum. And what you're also doing is giving yourself more chances of meeting that girl that actually connects with you. She's out there waiting for you, bro. That dream girl of yours is out there waiting for you, bro, and you're just one approach away. Level 4 is what I call the small talker. At this point, you are actually consistently approaching 3 to 5 women per week, but the conversations aren't really going anywhere. Like you're doing it, like you're doing that hard part of walking up to the girl, and now the conversations are just kind of like just robotic. Nothing's really happening. One of my clients, Nick, he lived in Miami. He was 22 years old. He had never been with a girl before, and this was exactly the level where he was at. He was approaching women consistently, but his conversations just kind of fall flat. Like he would tell the girl, hey, excuse me, I thought you were really cute. I wanted to come say hi. And sometimes the girl would be really receptive and she would stop and look at him in the eyes and be like, oh, thank you so much. Hi, like, what's your name? And then after that first exchange, the girl is waiting. She's standing there looking at him, like waiting for him to guide the conversation. And he's just staring at her like, you know, like a deer in the headlights, like, yeah, you know, just wanted to come say hi. Like, I thought you were really cute. He kind of just like start repeating himself. I'm not trying to make fun of him or anything, but that's kind of where he was stuck at. My homework for him was, okay, you're doing the hard part, like climbing that mountain of actually stopping the girl. That's like the hardest part, okay? At this point, what I want you to do, and this applies to you as well if you're at this level, is after every single interaction that you have, I want you to go back, maybe open the notes app on your phone or like a Google Drive or even just like your notebook or something. And I want you to replay the conversation in your head and kind of imagine that conversational flow again. Put yourself back into that conversation. Literally just brainstorm like, okay, like what could I have said that would have extended the conversation? You're not trying to come up with like a full script or anything. You're literally just trying to come up with like maybe one question, one statement that you could have said, one observation would have made the conversation just like 1% more interesting. What I would also do, honestly, is just watch approach footage, okay? Like the infield footage that you see, just to kind of have an idea of what these conversations are like, okay? It's just gonna give you ideas. Don't watch like the pickup artist stuff though, or like the red pill stuff, just like the guys that kind of like walk up to a girl and they're like, hey, like what would you rate me out of 10 type of stuff. That's not how real life works, honestly. And if you wanna shortcut this process and you wanna see like what actual good conversations that are grounded in reality look like, I have a ton of approach footage in my course and community. The link for that is down below. Level 5 is when you're actually getting girls' numbers, but you're not really going on dates with those girls at all. And what that usually means is that you're overcomplicating the whole texting process and the whole process of setting up dates. Because of dating apps and social media and just like constant stimulation, it seems like you as the guy need to be this like comedian to get a girl to like you. That if you get her number, you gotta show up with amazing, clever jokes. The memes gotta be on point. You're just trying to make her laugh and, you know, make her interested in you, come up with like interesting questions to ask her. And to be honest, if you're using dating apps as your main way of trying to meet up women, that actually is kind of true. Like you do need to stand out because women are like, there's like so many guys that they're messaging all at once. You as the guy do need to stand out using your messages basically. And that's when guys start to overthink everything they say. They're like, oh my God, like, should I put like a question mark at the end? Or like, should I just leave it blank? Or like have like a lowercase? You're like overcomplicating. It's so stupid. Back when I was younger, younger, I used to use dating apps as my main source of trying to meet women, and this would always happen to me too. I would meet or I would match with a girl, and then I would like never actually meet up with her because I was too busy trying to be impressive and funny. But when I started approaching women, what I realized was texting a girl after you've approached her is so simple. Why is that? Well, because when you approach a girl, that conversation that you already had with her does all the heavy lifting for you. You looked her in the eyes, you were smiling, maybe hopefully you made her smile too. Maybe you made her blush, right? You made her feel some sort of emotion. She was looking up at you. She felt your masculine presence, right? Because it took confidence, it took balls to actually walk up to her, even if you were nervous about it. Like, girls still respect it, even if you're nervous. And a lot of girls will actually give you a chance, even if you were nervous during your approach. So that interaction that you had with her already does the heavy lifting for you. So because that interaction does the heavy lifting for you, when you're texting the girl, you don't really need to be that impressive at all. You're not trying to win her over through text. You've already done that. My best friend back in 2023, he was 24 years old. He hadn't been with a girl yet at that point in his life. He was really starting to get pretty lonely and depressed about this. I mean, it's understandable. He wasn't approaching women, but he was using dating apps. He was actually matching with women on dating apps because he had nice photos on his profile and whatnot. When it came to texting, always just end up losing the girl's interest. And why was that? Well, because, and I told him, I was like, are you even offering to go on a date with these girls? Like, are you just being funny, or are you actually saying like, hey, like, let's meet up somewhere? And he actually wasn't. So once I told him to actually start doing that with girls, literally within the next 2 weeks, he ended up going on his first date ever. And 3 years later, he's still dating that same girl that he went on a date with. So if he's watching this, you're welcome. So my homework for you, if you're at this level, is you need to start viewing texting as just a way to meet up with the girl. Don't try to get to know her over the text. Save that for the date itself. Right now, if you get a girl's number from approaching, literally within the first 2 to 4 texts that you send her, I want you to propose a time and a place for you guys to actually meet up, okay? Level 6 is what I call the nice guy. So level 6 is where you're actually going on dates with women. You're approaching women, you're getting their number, you're setting up the dates, you're actually going on the dates, but the dates never turn into anything else. They always just feel kind of friendly and platonic, and the girl never really wants to hang out with you after that first date. Maybe she texts you something like, hey, like, you know, I think it's best if we don't meet up, or I didn't really feel a connection or something. And you're like, well, shit, all right, gotta start over, gotta find a new girl, you know, by approaching and do the whole thing over again. And hopefully this time it works out. I had a client very recently actually who was in the same exact situation. He was 24 years old. A lot of the guys I talk to are 24 years old, but that seems to be the age. But he was 24 years old. He was living in the UK. He was like a technician. He was a computer technician or something like that. He set up the hardware on computers, and very logical guy, okay? He came to me and was telling me like, okay, he booked a few calls with me, and he was telling me from the get-go, like, okay, I'm going on dates with girls, but nothing's really happening, okay? So I broke it down with him and I asked him a few questions, and what I realized what he was doing wrong was, number one, he was going on dates that were daytime dates, okay? So he would ask girls to go out on like a coffee date or something. Girls would say yes, but then he would show up, and, you know, going on a coffee date or going on some like walk in the park type of date, it feels just too friendly for a first date. There's no romance. There's no really environmental kind of romance in that situation. So that was one aspect that wasn't really helping him at all, okay? The second problem that he was having was he wasn't really escalating physically on any of these dates. This is a big fear that a lot of guys have, especially like the Gen Z guys, because again, we grew up during this whole cancel culture, sexual harassment awareness type of stuff, and we're kind of like slightly traumatized by that. It's like, all right, like I don't want to, you know, come across as like toxic or whatever. Like, what do I do? You know, like, how do I play this correctly? And you're kind of just overthinking everything. The truth is, we all know that touching a woman on a date, we've all heard it. I'm sure you've seen videos on it where it's like, okay, you gotta touch girls on a date. You gotta lead, you gotta escalate physically. But I would say that that's literally the most important thing that you can do on a date, okay? That is the difference between a date that's like friendly and platonic versus like sexual and romantic, is physical touch. It's not by, you know, what you're gonna say and the topics of conversation and, you know, kind of being neurotic about like, how could I, you know, have the best jokes or whatever, like the best conversation. It's like, no, bro, I literally went on a date with a girl who spoke zero English, okay? I was in Argentina at the time. She spoke only Spanish. I speak a little bit of Spanish, but like not really that much. We ended up hooking up that night. And why was that? Well, because during the entire date, I wasn't even talking to her. I couldn't even talk to her. But what I was doing properly was escalating physically, just touching her, kind of slowly over time, kind of escalating it, okay? What I mean by that, so how you create that energy is first of all, you pick a spot that is romantic, right? So maybe it's a cocktail bar, maybe it's just like a dimly lit restaurant or something, right? And then once you're in that environment, you could sit close to her. You could, you could put your arm on her shoulder, her lower back at times to kind of like accentuate like a joke that you're making or something. And slowly but surely you could, touch her legs or something. If she's kind of, open to it, she doesn't like push back on it, is what I mean. That's how you escalate physically on a date, right? Eventually it leads to like actually kissing the girl. Level 7 is what I call the natural. At this point, you've basically figured it all out. You figured out how to approach, how to text, how to date, and you just feel more comfortable in who you are as a man. You know that you could attract women. You know that not every woman is gonna like you, and you're okay with that. You appreciate the women that actually do like you and want to be with you. You realize that dating should be easy. You're not really overthinking what you're saying to women because you know who you are, and that there are women out there that like you for who you are when you're at your most confident. You could walk into a bar, into a cafe, you could walk through a park, and if you see a cute girl, you could just walk up to her and say, hey, excuse me, I thought you were really cute. I wanted to come say what's up. You could have these nice little conversations. You're going on dates regularly and you know how to tease, how to escalate physically, how to just create that fun, charismatic atmosphere that makes her attracted to you. You've basically got options now. Maybe you're hooking up with multiple girls per week and then one of those girls you really, really like, so you choose to invest in her and see if maybe you could form a relationship with this girl. Underneath all of that is how you carry yourself as a man. You're not trying to prove yourself to anybody anymore. You've already done that. You're just living your life, pursuing other dreams of yours that have nothing to do with women. And then women are kind of like a side quest at this point. You're like, yeah, like if I see a girl that I like, I'm gonna go talk to her and see what happens. And you just trust that there's gonna be women out there that love you for who you are. If you want help actually getting there from your very first approach ever all the way to having that abundant dating life, that's exactly what I walk you through inside my course and community. You can study real approach footage, you can get feedback, you could watch 5+ hours of in-depth course content that you're not going to see on this YouTube channel. You're going to surround yourself with guys on the same path as you, and you're going to become that socially free man that you want to become. The link for that is down below. I'll see you guys next time.